Hi, guys. Welcome to Robin Hood Diaries again today. Thank you for joining me. I know your time is valuable. I try to tighten it up for that very reason, but I'm glad you could join me. I preview today as the wackiness of public access involving me, um, like going back to the 70s and 80s when it was really bizarre and cheesy, and then even before that, nothing virtually. And then kind of, I'm not going to go into like how it progressed, but this is like early public access. So on the old TVs, like my Gold Zenith, you would turn it to UHF instead of regular. And then that was where your public access channels were, such as they were. At the time, when I was growing up, the UHF, which was public access, was almost exclusively Spanish-speaking soap operas and religious shows, with a wonky something or other every once in a great while. Now, as we moved into like the later 70s and into the early 80s, uh, I guess you could say it got more sophisticated, but I don't know, judging on these weirdos, there's only a few, but they're my most remarkable takeaways from early public access. So just real quick, public access, as I said, went from the Spanish speaking and the religious into some PTL stuff. Okay, so then we got Jan Crouch and folks like that, Christian Broadcasting Network, PTL, whatever. In fact, my bestie and I, when we were like, I don't know, 11 or 12, used to call PTL, I think, is Jan Crouch took over. It doesn't matter. And we would call the prayer line and prank them time after time after time while Jan Crouch was on there preaching to the choir. So then after this period of lots of religious and sort of obscure, really obscure stuff, and you can Google or YouTube, of course, any of like early stuff, weirdo stuff, and one of which I was a huge fan of, and I became friends with them and did call-ins. So one of the things that you see was entertainment stuff, celebrities, demi-celebrities, B and C-list celebrities, and older ones that were A-list. And this was done primarily through a guy named Skip E. Lowe, who I knew, who was an absolute legend in Los Angeles, and also primarily because of this show. Serious interviews, kind of like Charlie Rose, but really wannabe. And it was like a little stage, as many of them were, with a chair, like a rubber plant, and like two other chairs. And his show was pretty well known. I mean, people would really pay attention. I loved Skip E. Lowe because he could never remember anyone's names. So no matter who you were when you saw him, he'd go, "Hi, Mary." Everyone's name was Mary. Poor guy. So I'm on the Skippy Lowe show, but I'm on the Skippy Lowe show with my dad. Okay, so I've always found publicity, especially of this variety, sort of like ragtag, do it yourself publicity, like being on Skippy Lowe. And Skip wanted my dad and I to be on together. So here's Skip, and here's my dad and I, with a plan in the middle. And of course, a lot of attention is focused on my dad. My dad ate up any kind of publicity he could get his hands on, as if he were starving, and publicity of sorts was sustenance.